really excited to announce that this episode is sponsored by the Stapleton Vines and Spirits, which is located at 2995 Ulster Street here in the neighborhood of Stapleton, which is in Denver, Colorado. And I am really excited to have this delicious wine that they provided for us. So thank you, Stapleton Vines and Spirits. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Good. Don't trip on anything.
You should remember to mention.
Oh, I got something to say. And for Black History Month, just so you know,
thank you.
It is under new management, new owner, and that owner is Black.
All right.
So... Okay. So we now, you know that if you're trying to buy some booze in Stapleton and you feel upset that the neighborhood is named after a KKK member, then you can feel good and take that guilt or anything you feel about that and go ahead and just buy your wine from the Black-owned wine store, right? And I just wanted people to know. How's that? Was that good, White James?
Fantastic. What about Black-owned wine? You know, that's what Killer Mike was going for.
I know. Oh, Killer Mike. Have you been watching the Killer Mike show?
I only saw the first episode.
Okay, word. So we have a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we have a lot to cover. So the kickoff is now. Okay. Vince is messaging us. You guys, I shouldn't be touching this because remember what happened last time?
Yeah, don't look at that.
I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to look right into our souls. All right. Here we go. So raise your hand if you are... Oh, hello.
Hello.
You guys, Ty is here. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Ty, do you have anything you need to shout out while you're here?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Probably will, though.
All right. So we do have our delicious wine, our sponsored wine. And we'll do another little, we'll throw another thing in there.
Sponsored wine.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I thought you had this.
I know, but you have to be rosé all day.
All day.
Oh, really?
You got it right.
Okay. So all right. Okay, we ready? So Janae. So first of all, I want to welcome Janae Burris. You're like, I think she's one of our biggest stars. I think to come on.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That was me.
I'm serious.
I'm sorry.
Are you Are you our biggest star? What do you think, White James?
She's high up.
She's high up.
James, stop. James, y'all make stuff up. But thank you. That was really diplomatic of you.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna get into it. Are you guys ready? I was born ready. Are you ready, White James?
I'm ready.
Do you have any questions,
I do
concerns,
not.
comments, sounds? Nothing at all.
None. Get it going.
All right. So the first thing I want to start off with is we are not watching the Super Bowl, which is starting right now, but I know someone who is watching the Super Bowl, and her name is Elizabeth Epps, and she is watching it from inside of a jail cell today, and Elizabeth Epps loves football, and she's allowed to watch any fucking thing she wants because she is a soldier and she can do whatever she wants. So Elizabeth Epps, you are the only person I will cast no shade upon on this Super Bowl Sunday. We're thinking about you, girl. We love you. We want to see you free. If you haven't been following that case, you can go ahead and give that a Google, and just remember that there are just thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of black bodies locked up in cages for nothing except for white supremacy. So if you're wondering why I'm not watching the Super Bowl, when we think about why people stopped watching it in the first place or were boycotting it, it had to do with Colin Kaepernick and his protest and his kneeling for the national anthem. So I wanted to ask, have you guys been boycotting the Super Bowl? Janae.
Yes, but it was an easy sacrifice because I'd watch it casually. My boyfriend's a huge fan. He's a Phillies. He's an Eagles guy, and
You have a boyfriend?
yes, too old for a boyfriend, huh? I wish I could say husband, but I can't legally.
You gotta read my book, girl, and then you can. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm whatever he wants to call himself. But he loves football, and so I peek in sometimes.
Yeah.
And but then when the Kaepernick thing happened, I was like, okay, yeah, I can boycott. I'm not really into this. And also the violence of the game, I'm not really into. And the older I got, and how I see my nephews playing and growing in it, I'm just like, oh God, I cannot stand this game. It's too much for me. So the boycott was easy. The boycott versus just being uncomfortable watching it just some more awareness when I'm not watching it. It's like if it's playing somewhere, I'm like, I'm not participating.
Okay.
But yeah, I am boycotting. And I wish that I could be supportive. I wish it wasn't like this because I'm from LA and I was waiting for us to get a team again.
Yeah.
And we got a team and our team's in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, sorry, boys.
So I'm on Off Color Podcast and we're back in the basement.
I'm not really into it anymore.
All right. Well, no hate mail for Janae, please. Okay. Next. Danette, tell me about your boycott experience.
My boycott experience is it definitely started with Colin Kaepernick and a little bit with I forget the man's name who his girlfriend kind of got him caught up talking over the phone. She recorded him. It was a coach or like an owner of a
The white guy,
team.
what was it? Was not Roger.
that's
Silverman.
That's basketball.
It's
The owner of the
basketball,
Clippers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the Clippers. So we're talking about. I'm talking about
Not
sports ball.
Silverman.
balls, right? So when Colin happened and when that happened with the basketball team, he had been quoted saying some of the teammates had already complained, and it was on record that they had complained about some of his behavior towards them, bringing people inside of the locker rooms to watch them shower. Fudge, I can't remember his name. I think it's Don.
Don Lemon?
Lemon. It was something like that.
Sterling.
Donald Sterling. Okay, he's trash.
Donald
All right.
I was gonna
Sterling
figure that out.
Okay.
would bring people into the locker rooms as though he owned these black bodies. Now, how it all ties into the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, to some degree, I guess, isn't like the top 10 best player in the whole wide world, has been the arguments that I hear from diehard football fans is like, well, I love football, but Colin Kaepernick isn't, like, we shouldn't be making this fuss about Colin Kaepernick. And while that might be true, I do, from what I can see, think that the NFL is run by black bodies. Even the simplest players, the players who don't see any play time at all, are making $100,000 riding the bench, from what I understand. So why can't we give Colin Kaepernick a job? It is very intentional. It's not about, he's not trying to get John Elway's position. You know what I mean? He could be put on a team. It's very intentional. There's worse players than him making way more money riding the bench. So for me, it was more about that very intentional move that this person has spoken out of turn and he's now going to be punished. And how dare the NFL make all that money off of black bodies and not be absolutely accommodating in so many ways to causes that affect those black bodies.
They do have a vested interest.
They have a vested interest in protecting these black bodies and these black families. And it's very intentional. And so that's why I'm boycotting the NFL.
Okay. So, White James, why are you boycotting the NFL?
I don't think you can call it a boycott because I've never watched, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
you don't watch the Super Bowl either? Neither?
no.
Never?
No, I mean, of course, I've gone to Super Bowl parties and stuff. It's just like part of our culture or whatever. But it's just never been my thing.
Okay. So, I will say that on February 8th, 2014, I stood on a beach in Negril, Jamaica, and looked into my husband's eyes, and I read my wedding vows. And in those wedding vows, I said, I will be a Broncos fan through sickness and in health. And that was one of my wedding vows. And it was after that terrible Super Bowl. Remember that one? Okay, it was 2014. It was bad. It hurt us all in our souls. And so that was one of my things. Like, when I was, like, wooing Kenny, I learned about football because he asked me one time to come over to watch football, which I didn't know the rules or anything. So I studied. I had flashcards and shit. It was like this real cute thing. And so it was this really like very happy, positive memory for me, like when we were first dating and then when we got married and all that. And so then when we decided that we were going to boycott because of Kaepernick, same reason as Jeanette, right? Then we were like, okay. And so for Ken, it was like a real sacrifice. For me, it wasn't really a sacrifice, but it was sacrificing something that like we did together that was kind of sweet and romantic, and it was fun for us. And so I feel like for my husband, who's been a lifelong Broncos fan and he really likes football, for him it is like a real sacrifice. He's at the movies right now. You know what? He probably watching on his phone. Just kidding.
I mean, I was a diehard Bronco fan as well. I've been looking sadly at my Bronco jerseys in the back of the closet like, aw. But, I mean, we have to learn to stop supporting institutions that aren't going to give us that same support back. I mean,
God,
there's, I agree with you too, the violence and stuff.
The concussions.
The concussions. And even if you want to go deeper, we're talking about Black men who are going to be suffering with mental health things down the road, and how much support we know that they're probably going to be overlooked or miss out on, or, I see that. I've definitely seen football families struggle with the mental health things. We're talking about very large Black men. Yeah. And it's a dangerous situation to have a mental health issue as
even
large.
the abuse their bodies receive since they're little kids. My nephews start playing at age 6. And so these kids are getting concussions
every year.
And the whole focus is with the intention of possibly being in the NFL, possibly creating some generational wealth for your family, which I get it. I understand that why even my family is participating in that. But for me as an adult who loves these boys, I'm just like, ooh, I don't want them to continue to participate in this, especially with, when they get to college and the college kids are not being paid for their work that they're putting in and the sacrifice they're making for their bodies. And then even if you get in the NFL, the chances that you'll have a long career are just like
hurt,
and without getting hurt is crazy. But even that you would have a long career, like it's just like it's probably not going to happen. All the sacrifices they make along the way. The NFL could definitely have their backs regarding their bodies. They don't.
There is nothing in America that has Black Americans' backs that I am aware of.
None.
Are you aware of anything?
Even when your backs make them the money.
No, it's
they still don't want to have your back.
So, and I think that that's something, that's been coming up a lot recently, discussing things that are, these overt acts of racism, blackballing Kaepernick, or, that kind of thing, these overt things, and everyone is so shocked by them. I mean,
I think he definitely got blackballed and blacklisted, and it can happen in ways that are too subtle for everybody to go like, yes, that definitely happened. It's like you get into this argument about was he one of the top 10? That's not even relevant. I don't think he was still he was ready to work. The year before, he had already taken his team to the Super Bowl. So you're telling me within 1 year, he's worse than Tony Romo has a job right now. Not in the NFL, but, as a broadcaster.
Being attached to a team that goes to the Super Bowl gives you so much resume.
They get traded to teams. You can be third string. It's about being affable and being able to get along with these owners. They stick together. There's less of them. The owners stick together, and I'm sure if there were a couple owners who considered hiring Kaepernick, they could easily be convinced to just ignore him. Just not make a big deal about it.
How much money do you think they're making off of Kaepernick jerseys right now, while they blackball him? How much money do you think they're making off that black body right
jerseys
now
make a lot
that
of
they
money.
refuse to employ?
And I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. He's half black.
Oh,
he's my brother, so that's why we extra supported him. Because my husband's also mixed, and we're like, yes, Colin Kaepernick, because we've been going a little extra.
Can we talk
hard.
about his sort
afro
of, or? Well, as a person who is, he's a person who is half black and raised by a white family, and I wondered about what got in his head in these last few years that really woke him up. What was the awakening for him? When was the veil lifted for him? What really did it?
Well, if we could get him on the show, is anybody
Kaepernick?
Can we get you on the show? But I think really it was just the police brutality and all of these murders of unarmed black men.
Yeah, I guess
and then when you
awareness
see it,
for all of us right now.
I think it always. We knew, but then it was watching it.
Yeah, we always knew. Man,
because
I see footage of Watch Riots, it's I've been seeing those since I was a kid.
Exactly. And so, but I think when you realize how bad it is, and I'm sure he's gotten pulled over before, driving around. I don't know any black men that haven't gotten pulled over. Do you? I mean, I can't think. I'm just saying. I know that, so I know it's. Sorry. All right. sorry, live fam. I'm like nervous because it's live.
Okay.
And White James was like, I'm not editing anything. So all of this is going
like
up
that,
like tomorrow.
James,
I forgot to tell you guys. So everything you say is going up tomorrow.
Oh,
as a little announcement there. So I think though, when you start realizing what's going on, and then also he had a platform that he hadn't had before. Not like that. Right?
Maybe he felt that way all along, but didn't have the platform.
I mean, yeah. So who knows, but we'll get him on here, right? All right, Colin Kaepernick, I'll be looking forward to having you over to my basement in the near future.
I think that was the point, is to ask him, is to be put in a position to be, to force people to say, why is he doing
Yes.
this? And then everybody's waiting now for the answer.
Yeah, and then it all went to shit.
Can I ask what brought on your awakening as a Black person? I mean, I've had an awakening as well. What did it for you?
For me, it was living in Colorado. I mean, it's not like these are new issues to me. It's not something like I used to write for the school paper in high school, and I remember we did like article like self-imposed segregation, and and I was always like involved. I feel like in some somewhat in like social justice and racial issues around identity, but I feel like living life, doing what I'm doing, and then when I moved to Colorado, it has been in some ways kind of like a scary experience. Some of the things that I've seen here, there's just so many active like hate groups. There's all these like white supremacists and stuff. And also I moved into my neighborhood that I live in, and then I find out that it's named after the mayor who was in the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait a minute, Colorado. Like, this is where I live, and people are saying, oh, it's so liberal, and so on and so
That's
forth.
the weirdest part to me about Colorado is that people are like, no, we're open-minded and liberal. It's like, so you think...
No, but we had, that's one of the things, so like, again, I don't want to like rehash our whole, like, change the name of our neighborhood in Stapleton, because we do have episodes about that back in season 1, but people are not wanting to change names, and our beautiful sponsor who gave us this wonderful wine, Stapleton Vines and Spirits, I think y'all need to change your name, I'm sorry. I think you should call yourselves 80238 Vines and Spirits. And that opens you up for a franchise. Then you could open up like zip code named like shops all over the city. I have a lot of ideas for you guys, by the way. I really do. I want a wine club.
Getting some bang for your sponsorship.
I have ideas, and I know you're going to have your wine tasting starting back up in March. So they have wine tastings. There's a restaurant. Like, it's going to be really great, and it's also kind of amazing that it's owned, that it's Black owned, especially in this neighborhood. So I think it's good, and I'm really happy that they're there, and it's walking distance to my house, so I can walk over there. If we need more wine, guys, I could go over there and get it. You know what I'm saying?
That's wonderful.
I know, so I like it. Yes. All right. Why James supposed to keep me on track?
Good.
You're doing fine.
I don't need your validation. Okay.
Stapleton, what is it?
Vines and Spirits. Stapleton Vines and Spirits. So if you're in in this area of Denver, that's where you should be getting your booze. Okay. Does that sound agreeable to everyone?
I like your nails. Who did your nails? Is there a Black-owned nail shop?
There's not.
I don't like the nail shop I've been going to.
No, there is not.
It
Actually,
fits
if
within
anyone
days.
knows a Black-owned nail shop, so because the one I go to is not Black-owned, but there's a lot of Black people in it.
Working there?
No, just getting their nails done.
I know. I thought Serena was going to open some Black nail shop. Because she was, for a point, into, like, she was taking some...
Esthetician.
Serena knows what she was taking.
Yes.
But she was learning how to do nails and stuff. So I was like, ooh, Serena going to start opening some, a franchise of...
I feel like we're just throwing out ideas for people left and right. Like, you could get a whole new business. Just like, all right, Serena's nails. That would be dope. That would be dope.
Serena's nails, that's cute.
Yeah.
Got to start in Watts.
Okay.
Take it back home.
Right, take it back
I have an idea.
home.
All right, so I feel like we are just, you guys, here, cheers. This is good
Cheers.
stuff. Ooh.
I just bought some Black-owned makeup, bought some Fenty.
Yeah.
Struggling to put it
Fenty.
on. I'll tell you about that later.
Fenty.
Sephora staff, 0 stars.
0 stars
No, wait.
at the Cherry Creek Mall,
16th Street.
16th Street.
No, speak on it.
Where's the customer service? Sometimes I don't know if people are rude, bad at their job, or racist. It's hard to tell these days. It all blends together. But I just couldn't get no help. I waited till all my makeup was gone and saved my little pennies and was like, I'm getting some Fenty. I'm about to go buy a whole new set of makeup. And they were like, from across the room, welcome to Sephora. Let us know if we can help you. I said, who said that? She's like, over here. I was like, I'm looking for Fenty. She's like, over here. She walks me. She's like, it's right here. Let me know if you need anything else. I said, what? And that that was the interaction that kept happening where I was like, could you, and I had to go find her. Could you show me? Could you do a color thing? So just this tube, that's all I need. Nothing. No sponges, no pressed powder. I need some eyebrows. And she was just like, bye. I was like, okay.
So Sephora.
I'll order online then that's how it is.
I feel like Sephora owes Janae Burris a little coupon.
Cool. I need some eyebrows. I was ready to buy some stuff. I've been waiting. I didn't buy stuff last month so that I could save my little pennies and get all of it at the same time.
Okay.
And she was just like, bye. She told me bye so many times. I was like,
She said the actual word bye. Wow.
Also, she looked like she didn't really know nothing about makeup. I was like, you work at the makeup store, girl. Put something on. Just maybe, I don't know.
Well, we don't want to put on any Fenty makeup because we don't want to see her doing some kind of blackface, which is apparently black in style.
It's back.
It's black in style, you guys, and it has been brought to our attention.
Fenty has a range of colors and tones, though, for white people as well.
All the way.
For both of your parents.
I know they really did make it into like a black thing because she has the best line out there for black skin, but also because she's a black owner. But I hear her line of colors for the Asian community is winning. Right
there was
now.
range in tones for sure. There were so many.
It's not so much that she's a
tones.
black company. It's as opposed to she's inclusive.
Origins,
no
black people tones.
That is so dope.
Stop by
That's
Origins.
what's phenomenal about it.
Yeah. But sorry, Sephora, I was there with my little pennies. I know I was looking
Ain't
busted.
nothing
I
little
was
pennies
looking
about
busted.
that Fenty. You was ready to spend money. Ain't nothing pennies about that Fenty.
And now I'm putting on Fenty with my finger because, I don't know, Megan didn't want to sell me no sponges. So.
I'm so glad you said Megan and not Becky because that shit, because I get a little uncomfortable because my name's Rebecca. No one calls me Becky. But it's still like a little thing. It's a sensitive subject for me when people are like Becky.
Sarah, Katie. She was like a Megan.
Okay, bye.
Megan is very specific. I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm saying bye. I don't know.
All right.
Bye.
So I wanted to talk about, this week I was like, oh, what shall we talk about on Off Color? And then the governor of Virginia's yearbook pictures came out. Did anybody see that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I did.
Absolutely.
I did.
Yes. I was like, he wouldn't say which one was him. I was like, boy, you don't have no sense. You better tell him. It does matter. I would have said blackface. I was in blackface mode. Sorry about that. That was rude. I was in blackface. I think that one way outweighs the other, in my opinion. Ooh, blackface versus Klans member? Yes.
I know, but that's what the blackface is. It's a mockery of.
Blackface is a mockery, absolutely. Being in a Klan's robe means that you're going to actually put yourself between black people and their success and black people in progress. And being a Klans member says that I'm here to stop black people from making progress. Being in blackface, is
also
like
taking
dumb
away
or
jobs
something.
from black people. If you want a black person on stage, then just hire a black.
It's buffoonery. It's making fun of black people.
Can I say that when I first heard about it, I had a thought where I was like, oh, well, that sucks, but it was a long time ago. I just had a small moment. I was like, well, thinking about it, and because for me, when I was in college, I've talked about this before, but when I was in college, and I was not in college that long ago. Just kidding, it wasn't long ago. It was the 90s. And on Halloween, there was a white girl dressed up as Serena Williams in complete blackface all over her body, wearing a tennis outfit, and she had cornrows. And I was like, I didn't even know what to do. You know what I mean? In that moment. And I remember I was Halloween, so I was all drunk and stuff. But I'm just saying, so that girl's out there today and she knows what she did. Mm-hmm. And that was the 90s. So I'm thinking, well, if that happened in the 90s,
he was in college in the 80s.
I know. So that was the thing that changed my mind. I was like, wait a minute, 1984. You had to know in 1984. He was a grown man in 84.
So I was in middle school in the 90s.
Yeah.
and a young man came to school on Halloween, and I'll never forget it. I was a part of a small group called Seminary, so I was like with all white kids in a very small group of advanced students. They called us the Seminards when we walked down the hall. It was very dramatic. But one white boy in our very small, isolated class group all day long came to school on Halloween with brown makeup all over his face, smeared, and his hands looked like he had dipped them in Kool-Aid. Like they were stained red.
No.
I'll never forget it because it was one of those moments where we were like, okay, you know, everybody's showing off their costume. We're in this, you know, small class of nurtured advanced students, you know, and I'm like, I'm a birthday present. And like, he stands there and he's like, I'm OJ.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
He went there.
He went there, and the teacher was like, excuse me, we're going to have to go to the bathroom. Made him go to the bathroom with
God, I think his parents saw
They
him.
turned him into like a zombie or something.
Yeah.
With some like medical tape. And yeah, I was like,
Okay, but so that's what I'm saying. So have you had an experience of seeing a person, a live person in blackface, like for Halloween or something
I've
like that?
never
Have you
seen
that?
a person in real life. I've seen photos. I have friends who did it years ago and who truly didn't understand. And I was like, well, this is why. And they're like, oh. And I informed them, educated them about it. But I've never seen anybody in person.
I want to know. White James,
Yeah.
you ever wear blackface?
Half on mic. No, I've never worn blackface, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody in blackface in person. But I think the funny thing about the governor not knowing which one was him, if you did either of those things, you'd remember it. So that means he's done them both.
He basically chose it. He couldn't remember what year that was, huh? Yeah. Which photo is it? What party was that? That's what the question is.
Yeah.
he's definitely the Klan member. You would just answer.
No, because you know what his nickname was?
Coon Man.
Coon Man. So how's your nickname gonna be Coon Man? That just means he
It's
was
also
like
one of his favorite photos because he chose it to showcase
Showcase
himself in the
him.
yearbook.
Yeah.
That is his Facebook profile, basically. Like
No, he
before
says that he
Facebook.
was studying abroad when the yearbook came out, and he never saw it.
Oh, he never chose. He never sent that in. They were just like, here's a photo.
You've never looked
photo.
at your yearbook, right?
You had to submit those back in those days. You had to submit your photos. It was like, was that the 80s?
yeah,
And it got
like, you were
approval,
chosen.
and it got printed. Many
And
people
guess
own
what?
this.
If you go through their yearbooks, they're all like that.
Well, and let's
It's
talk
all,
about
you know?
a community
You know
of people
what?
that's
Yeah.
completely comfortable with putting a Klansman and a blackface
Right.
in the yearbook, let alone whether he submitted it or not. What adult of the yearbook community looked that over and actually submitted that to a publisher? And said, yeah,
Great photo. This is
stamp
great.
of approval.
I mean,
push it through.
I still really hope he was in the blackface and not in Klansman hood because I don't think he can be. You can be in government after you made a fool of yourself and did something rude and terrible like being in blackface. But I think the nerve to be in something as terrifying as the Klansman outfit.
He now claims that neither of them were him, that he got confused because he wore brown face once when he dressed as Michael Jackson for Halloween.
Oh, because everybody
And
loves
so
Michael Jackson.
he got...
Oh, was he Michael
Are you
Jackson
gonna
from the
talk
Say,
about
Say,
the look?
Say video, man?
What Michael Jackson?
Well, it was 84.
It was the
Yeah,
Paul
which
McCartney
I know.
Say video, man. Let me look at that again. Okay.
no, but when I told my dad that, my dad's like 89. My dad was like, he just couldn't stop laughing, and he was like, and then Michael Jackson turned around and said, "I'm gonna do it too," and that was, he's making his old man jokes about it, but it is a kind of a crazy story, and at the same time, it's not.
I still
Because the thing is, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I'm just confused why people keep doing it.
Right, even as recent as that
Like,
picture.
why are they? I have never been in whiteface, and I'm sure that I've dressed up as white characters, and I just don't understand why they think they have to put the skin on too. When you put the outfit on, and even the hair and the attitude, and you tell everybody, I am Princess Leia. Like, do you have to put the makeup
and
on?
we
I
went
don't
on this. We
understand
have an
why.
extensive Halloween episode about this with the late great Dr. Diggs that you can go back to season 1 for. We did release it because we talk a lot about that, about this idea of like I said, that girl, if she'd cornrowed her hair and carried her tennis racket and was wearing, I wouldn't have been mad, honestly. Like, especially at that time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have been mad, but it was the blackface. I was like, girl, are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? And so then we're thinking, oh, it's this thing. But like last week, this lady a teacher dressed up in blackface to teach African missionary work. Did you see that?
I did.
You see it? You see it? Everybody see it? Look at her smiling.
Yeah, it's silly because it's like
She was in the mirror like this all morning.
How have you not spoken to anyone? I know you had to go to the store and buy that makeup. You had to say to yourself, I know what I'm going to do.
She's like,
she didn't
doing a costume.
just have brown face
Give me
makeup
Cocoa
on
Brown.
hand. She went with the intention.
Or maybe she does it all the time at home and just never shows.
But this was
She had been practicing how to tie her wrap, and she was just like, ooh, I'm going to kill him with this one.
What's the one lady who's been injecting herself with melanin or getting some sort of
those guys, and they got married. Yes, those people, and they got married, and they said they're white, and they both wear like blackface and have like a melanin treatment. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh Lord, keep me near the cross. And so they're doing that, and then they're having a baby, and they're like, the baby's gonna be black,
even though they're white.
Even though they're both white.
Tanning.
I'm scared.
I know.
The baby.
I mean, I raised my son black, as I like to say, and Kingston is white. I mean, you know, he's white, but that's okay because I am actually black. But they're not black at all. They're crazy. You can look that up and put that in the links.
I think I have seen them, and it makes me nervous for the child, though.
No, they can't have a they shouldn't have a baby.
What if they just, did a little cuckolding?
That's her, yeah. Before and after.
Yeah, no. I mean, she's obviously insane, but I also feel like...
Yeah, because look at the boobs.
Yeah, there's some dysmorphia.
I mean, before I can even get to the skin, I'm like, she tripping.
Sure.
Because I do be wearing that same crochet hair, though, girl. I know.
Oh, I like a good crochet. Okay. All right, we got distracted. I'm so sorry. All right. So those are things that were happening. But what the other thing that I wanted to bring up about Virginia, it's like people are like, oh, how could this be? Like, this is the lyrics. I forgot, Danette, to tell you I wanted you to sing this song, but then I was like, I don't think you can. Have you seen the words? It's the lyrics to Carry Me Back to Old Virginia. Mm-mm. And this was their state song until like 97 or something. And some of the lyrics are, you guys like it? This is, carry me back to old Virginia. That's where the cotton and corn and taters grow. That's where the birds warble sweet in the springtime. That's where this old darkie's heart and long to go. Okay?
God, give that a beat. That might sound better with a beat.
That's where I labored so hard for old Massa. Day after day in the field of yellow corn. No place on earth do I love more sincerely than old Virginia, the state where I was born into slavery. So I'm just saying, like, that's the lyrics of their song, and it was until, you know what I'm saying? So, like, this is the culture that they're involved in.
That's American culture.
Okay.
That's American culture. That's where that's where it all started, baby. That's our foundation right there.
That's our national anthem.
That is, that's our national identity.
It is. And I think, let's change
founded
the
on
song.
Slavery. But yeah, when we know better, we do better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like
Shout
that.
out to that's Insecure, Issa Rae.
Hey, girl. Hey, do you know Issa Rae? Are you friends with her?
I wish, she's so much younger. Oh, no, she's not. We're the same age.
All right, who needs a little?
No, but she's from LA, so like I see a lot of her. People are like, Janae, do you watch this? It's like, yeah, that younger woman who is very similar to me, but is way smarter and motivated than me. Yes, I support and watch her show, of course.
Yeah, I loved her for a long time. I loved her since Awkward Black Girl. Mm-hmm. That's for real.
She was good. Yeah,
that was my show.
Wasn't she like behind Black and Sexy TV and a couple of other things? Maybe that wasn't her.
Maybe.
I like when Danette. We have to fact check you. We have to fact check Danette.
Just making up stuff.
But no, she was doing like guerrilla style YouTube television shows for some time before she got picked up by a network. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's like this really cute show called The Couple. Have y'all ever watched that? online. It's like one of her like YouTube shows. Really cute. It's like, imagine if Barack Obama and his wife were like young and like move in together. Their little relationship. It's like cute. It's like black love.
Okay.
It's really cute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Supposedly that's what caught HBO's attention.
Oh. Okay, so Issa, when you coming on the show, girl? Okay, we'll get her. We'll get her. I feel it in my soul. Janae, we'll send you in to get her.
Okay.
Since you guys know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you like know
LA,
her.
you know?
Yeah, we can do it. We'll make it happen.
It's
We'll make it happen.
from LA.
We're
gonna make it happen.
Inglewood, Hawthorne, all of the hood, South Central.
You're from where?
I'm from South Central, Los Angeles.
Central?
Yeah, so I want to know a little bit more about you, Janae, as our very special guest.
It's a very special episode.
This is a very special. Well, hello, we out here boycotting the
About
NFL.
racism. No. I'm from LA. I've been in Colorado 4.5 years. And I recognize this sort of strange cultural feeling that it seems like you're picking up on as well.
Yeah.
In Colorado.
Ty, are you from here? Sorry, Ty is our studio audience today. Ty, are you a black person from Colorado?
Born and raised.
What brought your parents here?
School.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you grew up here, and so for me, it's been we were talking about that. It's just that I feel like the black people are a little bit weird here. I'm sorry, I know.
Ty's taking that personally. Sounds like you talking right about her and her people.
You're right. No, yes, I am. So I didn't notice it about you. That's why I asked if you were from here, right? Because we met, we had a good time at that Halloween party. Remember that? Oh, okay. So, yeah, I don't know. Have you heard that before from out-of-state people, or?
I have not.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't say it. Only I'm
wouldn't
ignorant
say it.
enough to say it. Only I'm ignorant enough to say it, and then record it, and then put it out in the world.
No, there's a special kind of black person here in Colorado for sure. It's like that whole landlocked experience.
Yeah, because you're not from here either. You're from California.
I've been here long enough now, though. They claim me.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah, no, I was born in San Diego. And from the time I was born until I was about 14, I lived between San Diego, Oakland, Hawaii, and Japan. And then at 15, I moved here. And then I went to college in Louisiana at 17.
Okay. So you had quite a wide range of experiences.
But my mom is from South Central, 106th Street, Avalon.
Oh, okay. Is that like Watts, Avalon?
Avalon,
It's a little bit.
106th.
It's probably a little bit north, so maybe not. Maybe
Maybe
yeah.
not.
No, that's South Central. Yeah, I'm from 104th in Hoover. 104th Place in Hoover. Yeah, we're from that same area. But you know, LA, probably still a little bit. Redlining brought us all there.
Yes.
Squished us all in the same hoods. You know, we could only. My grandmother lives 2 blocks from where I grew up because that's where she could buy a house. My mother grew up just a couple miles, maybe a walking distance from my elementary school because that's where her family had to buy their houses. So everybody's kind of from the same place. Even my stepfather, who we didn't even know until, 8 years ago, he lived in South Central. It's like we were all just relegated to the same
Those
area
pockets of LA
LA.
remind me of New York, how some people never leave their borough, even though it's just a train stop away. LA is very similar to that. I have cousins who've never been past Long Beach, and they've or never even been to Hollywood, like the Hollywood Strip.
Yeah. The LA I knew, I never knew really the Valley or any other places over the hill until I was like in college or something. But as a young person, people are like, you're from LA. It's like, yeah, South Central is like a small town still. It felt like a small town, but the gentrification has come. People are opening marijuana dispensaries there. People with capital, of course. White people. The white people are coming to buy property in South Central after people I know were murdered in South Central who suffered through the war on drugs, whose families were, separated by drugs and jail and prison and violence and death. Now the white people are coming to be like, it ain't so bad over here. They're coming to open marijuana dispensaries. And while, your cousins are still in jail serving time for marijuana. So it is changing over there. I had always hoped some money would come into my neighborhood. But I feel like the money that's coming, the weed money that's coming, the black people I know are not really trying to invest in that. Yeah. It's destroyed their families, and also they don't have the capital to get involved in it.
So that's a big conversation that we were having.
Y'all did all the black episodes already, huh?
No, girl, every episode black. I mean,
I know. Y'all done rehash all the black stuff.
No, not just that though, because I'm particularly interested in the cannabis industry, you know, from living here and like, I might like cannabis, okay.
Shout out to Simply Pure, black
Simply
owned.
Pure. Yeah, so Wanda James owns Simply Pure, and I feel like she's a real advocate. Do you know her or?
Yeah, I've met Wanda a couple times.
Yeah, so we're gonna have her on. She's gonna be on. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, she's great.
But her husband is running for city council in District 1 in Denver. Side note, y'all, I'm making a film. Everybody need to give me some money. It's called Running with My Girls. Seed and Spark. Shit is live. Just go ahead and put $1 on it. If you don't have $1 to contribute, your problems are more than I can help you with. So just share it.
I'll put it in here. What is it? Seed and Spark.
Seed and Spark. Yeah. Oh, it's Seed and Spark. Run with My Girls.
Oh, okay.
So you have to like find the link, but you know where to find me. So anyway, so he's running, and he's not one of my girls, but he's like married to one of my girls. So I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. But we were talking the other night about it, and it's like these black businesses, like, you know, they'll say like, here, let me give you 5 cents, let me give you 10 cents for your little business loan, right? But we need like millions of dollars, and we like don't have that kind of capital to start a business.
No.
Well, LA, I read a year or two ago about social equity programs that were starting in LA to help black people and people who are from the neighborhood open dispensaries. So it sort of encourages these other people who have the capital to join together with someone from the neighborhood to open a business, because they're allowing, I think it was a 1-to-1 ratio. So for every business that's sold to someone who's not from the neighborhood, they're going to sell one to someone who is from the neighborhood and help them find a location and help them get funded. So it kind of encourages these other people to join together with the black folk from the neighborhood. So if you've been affected, if your family has been affected by drug laws, if you're ended up in foster care because your parents went to jail for that, then you might be eligible. If you have a relative who that happened to, then you might be eligible. But still, part of that issue is convincing black people that this drug that we said was illegal and terrible and destroys family, and maybe your religion doesn't agree with it. Hey, now it's okay.
Yeah.
Now it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
So pull out your retirement money and invest in this to create some generational wealth. It's hard to change people's minds.
So I think maybe
It's hard to make them feel like they're not being tricked.
Right.
Yeah.
Too.
And especially because it's not legal on a federal level, and it's not legal in every state.
I'm
and
not
it's
involved in any criminal activity, and I got to tell you, the red card thing for me was not something I was rushing to go get. You know, it was incredibly easy to get a red card. But I thought to myself, I don't want to be on anybody's list.
Right.
So that's so funny that you would say that.
Person,
I had the exact same experience where I didn't want to do it, and I was like, oh, I could get like a medical card, because like I really do smoke weed because it's like I have a lot of anxiety, yada yada yada, just like for sleep purposes.
And you want to grow your anxiety.
Yeah, no, for not for me.
You want to
Not
make
for
it
me.
worse. It's my friend Aaron's joke.
It makes me relax or whatever. So I feel like I have a case for it. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to have like a medical card. And I filled out the application. I had a prescription. I had everything. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want my name on any kind of list.
Yeah.
I don't want my name on the list.
Yeah. I think in California, what I read regarding medical marijuana was that you couldn't, if you had a medical marijuana license, that you could not own a gun. And even though I don't own any guns, I was like, nah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I'd rather be able to.
That's a weird thing to be like, you can't have it. I hadn't heard of that. You know?
I think that was in California. I don't know about other states, but I probably couldn't be in Colorado. Open carry.
I mean, come on now. This place is like, poo, poo,
Especially if you're allowed
So you get a gun with your purchase.
Right, if you can legally drink and own a gun, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a stigma. That I think that's what the marijuana industry is dealing with right now, is the stigma that it's not normal. It's to smoke marijuana, but it is normal to drink, and that's just propaganda.
No,
really.
it's only normal like if you were like white first.
And it was always legal, right?
It's like I literally am watching dispensaries open up in my neighborhood that are on corners where young black males used to stand on and sell marijuana.
Yeah.
and they're gone now. And there's a storefront with
serving
a white
time,
guy in
paying
shorts
fines,
and flip flops. You know,
dealing with having felonies on their record, can't get jobs, can't buy a house. Parents put their houses up to pay their bail. It's just all of this.
they're getting 5, 10, 15 years for distribution. Some of them are just getting out now, only to be slapped in the face with these shops.
Yeah.
And,
Lost the best.
And they can't even work there.
white kids.
Can't even work in those shops.
They can't even work there. It's like, who would know better how to manage some weed, right? Like, and they can't even work there. I think it's disgusting. And so, anyway, I'm on a.
I was glad.
Like
I think California made a move, some sort of legislative move that they're sort of letting go of the petty marijuana crimes.
Yeah.
No, they wiped
years
their.
back.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, and it's the same thing with everything that's happening to us.
done,
Yeah, the damage is already done. It's the same thing of us not having like capital. And I will say, like, everybody knows my proximity to whiteness gives me extra privileges and so on and so forth. However, I had my father and my husband's father had the same privileges that our white relatives had. We'd be like balling like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just, you know, my dad was very poor, grew up in the, you know, coal mine in West Virginia and didn't have anything, you know? And so like now we're starting to like build our wealth, but not enough. So please contribute to my Stevens Park from a film. Oh yeah, I quit my job, you guys.
Oh,
I don't know if everybody knows about that. Yeah, we kind of talked a little about last week. I did. I left my job. I can't talk about it because I want to sue them. But yeah, that's going on. So I do need some money. So please contribute to my Seed and Spark. And White James not editing, so this will still be in there tomorrow, which is good. All right, White James.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there?
Sorry, I'm looking at Facebook comments.
Is there any comments?
Yeah, there's a few comments.
Yeah.
Is anybody watching this?
Yeah.
We got a handful.
Hey,
Yeah,
My phone.
Tell me
I
who-
went to share, and then Facebook. I had this post going, and then Facebook was like, "Psych, go back to the beginning and read some new stuff." It's like,
Okay, well, because I want to
Facebook,
know
like-
if people are
and then I
watching.
couldn't share it.
A few people are watching. What's our last topic?
What's our last topic?
Yeah, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it's 5:15. All right, we're getting ready to wrap it up.
All right.
I'm curious how I gotta go back and listen to the episodes, but there's this meme. Okay, memes are going around. That's the times we live in. Okay, memes are becoming more and more important.
Yeah,
But there's just like if you're a white person with black friends and those black friends don't talk about white people in front of you, then you don't have any black friends. And I was just like, yeah, pretty much. How do you feel about these conversations happening in front? Are you offended at all? Are you just like, do you ever feel like, well, I need to speak up for my people, for my
For white people?
for my white people?
No, I definitely never feel that way. No.
You never feel like, actually, my Meemaw was not racist. Actually, my Meemaw's from Virginia, and she's cool.
That's funny. No,
She did
Rebecca's
not
always
steal
trying
her
to make
sweet
me
potato
talk more
recipe?
than I want to. I'm always trying to get myself off mic. But no, yeah, I enjoy it. I don't think that there's enough. First of all, I think that meme is super true. I think that I feel pretty privileged to be privy to conversations that I think a lot of people
Damn it,
don't.
did we give him another privilege? Jesus. God, damn. That is not the intention of speaking in front of you. Another privilege?
What we call an unintended consequence. And but no, it's true, and it's part of why I like this show and why I think it's really important in this sort of podcast environment. I think that there's race is a popular conversation, but I don't know if I really hear it talked about the way that it's talked about here on this show very often.
Yeah. We be keeping it real. Mm-hmm. And we want to have space for people to be able to have these kind of conversations. And then part of the show, too, it's been evolving, it's changing in ways like maybe that we didn't know. But, you know, we have like a call-in line so people ask questions. Like if anybody's watching and they have a question they want us to like get to. Somebody asked me one today that they wanted me to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. And it was about like, what do you do? I can't even ask this. What do you do if you don't want to, you want to stand for the national anthem, but you like don't want to stand for the national anthem? Like, what do you do? Like, what's the solution to that? A white person asked me this.
But they want it both ways. They want to support, but they also want to respect.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone telling them about this podcast, and he was like, well, you're boycotting the NFL. I love football. I feel bad. I'm like, so what? What is feeling bad? That's the consequence, okay? Either you can boycott with me and feel bad, or go enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have it both ways. You have to decide, and you have to just have to be able to sit with yourself and sleep at night. You decide if you want to stand up for the national anthem, then do so.
So here's my thing with it. So I've been at several events where they played the national anthem, and I wanted to just like drop down and take that knee. I tried to make Danette do it when she sang it. Remember, I was like, Danette, do it. And Danette was like, I can't die today. I got 2 kids. Like,
I was like, I am not going to have no white folks in no trucks following me home from the parking lot.
That's a real consideration.
But it gave me a huge, like, and that's the reason I'm still boycotting the NFL in the name of Colin Kaepernick, because the courage that it takes to do that, you know, and then people put up pictures of white people doing it and this and that. I'm like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, okay, that's great.
He's
I'm glad you did it.
His life.
Yeah, and like I have been in situations where like I want to do it, like my heart is like telling me, it's like, do it, Rebecca, do it, and I can't do it because I'm like scared, and I'm a mom, you know what I mean? I'm like, I can't be like
constant battle for Black people, like, and for women when we're standing up for ourselves as women. It's like, this could be a life or death situation.
Yeah.
So I have to pick and choose when I'm able to do these things, you know? Like Martin Luther King marching on to Selma. It's like they had to do a peaceful protest. You wish you can go toe-to-toe with people and just fight to get what you want. But you know, a sit-in or a hunger strike. It's like you make those choices, and that's met with violence. Imagine if they had started with violence, they would just be dead bodies. But it's dangerous. Every time Black people make these, even what seems like a small step, you really have to decide, do I want to change the course of my life and the life of my family, put my family's life in danger potentially for something like kneeling, and then you got veterans or police who are carrying guns being upset with you. Maybe they no longer offer you protection as a citizen. You really have to decide if you're willing to die for this shit, as even if it seems like a small thing like protesting the national anthem in your living room. I don't know. You never
or having
know
a Black Lives Matter sign on your lawn.
So you put you shine a spotlight.
Well, that happened. So I last week, after our last episode, we did have like a little incident where one of our friends fainted, and so we called 911, and it ended up the police came, and they were like banging on our door, and there was like 3 cop cars here. 5. Holy shit. It was 5 cop cars.
For someone fainting?
What
are they gonna do?
It's because James, I feel like White James might have messed that up a little bit, but anyway.
What happened?
No, it was on me. No, so it was, she fainted twice.
Yeah.
She fainted.
And so I was like very scary.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
she's
she
young.
said, I just need to leave. And I held the door open, and she started walking toward the door and like collapsed on her way to the door. And Rebecca said, we should call 911. And I called, and then while I was calling, basically this woman and her husband freaked out, and they were like, we cannot afford for you to call 911. So I hung up. And so it was a 911 hang up. So they sent cops.
Mm-hmm. But then
so I think like 3 cops did show up, and then they banged on the door. And then when they realized that we were not interested in letting them in or giving them ID or anything like that, that's when like 2 more cop cars showed up, and it became a thing.
Yeah. And it was like scary.
Yeah.
And so we were already like scared because our friend was like not feeling well. And then we were also really scared because like it was just this moment, and I'm like, we're recording it, you know, we had Hashim Coates was here, and he was like, we don't have to tell you shit, motherfucker. And like and it was just like it was I could see in 1 second how we all could have been like killed, just in 1 second in that interaction for nothing, you know. And so like, and that's me in my like fancy pants house, right? Like it was just
Your
it was
house
crazy.
ain't never fancy enough to not get killed. I mean, immediately when you say we could all get killed, it made me think of like Fred Hammond
or arrested.
something.
Fred Hampton. Like just like with Elizabeth, she has a legal degree.
Yeah,
Why is
she's
Elizabeth
a lot of
in jail for talking back to an officer
because of racism, and
with a legal degree in her pocket. You understand? Like, maybe I don't know all the ins and outs, but she certainly knows her rights.
But that's a reminder there too that it doesn't matter how fancy your house, how many degrees you have. We are same as if a dude is selling crack on the corners. Like, we all have the right to life, whether we are selling crack or whether we have a fancy house. But because you're black, it's like, no, you don't have the right to life.
Which, by the way,
doesn't matter what you're doing, and we should be fighting for his right to not get murdered while selling crack. He's supposed to go to jail. Right. He should not be murdered while selling crack either. But
or while running away for a tail light, or while playing with a toy gun at the park, or while walking home from 7-Eleven,
while smoking weed in your own apartment,
or for selling a single cigarette,
sleeping on the couch with your grandmother. Yeah, that shit.
Standing in the backyard of your grandmother's house with a cell phone.
Holding a cell phone.
There's all kinds of reasons that you shouldn't have to die. Which I was going to say, I'm also boycotting Waffle House now.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
Waffle House. And I saw the video, and I guess she's suing the woman involved in the incident. There was a woman involved in a southern state at a Waffle House.
Chikasia Clemens.
Right. She had a dispute with the server, or wanted to pay, or didn't want to pay for something she didn't want, or I don't know what happened, but she wasn't ready to leave yet, and they called the police on her, and it was like 3 police officers, and they choked her out, and her breasts came out, and they slammed her on the filthy floor of Waffle House, and like all of these dramatics for a late night diner, a woman who's obviously not armed. She had very little clothing on. She wasn't being violent. She wasn't being aggressive.
So she has a new trial. Her trial is so similar to Elizabeth Epps' trial.
It's just she said something smart. Not even like, I'm going to kill your mama kind of smart. Just, like...
She was like, I want my waffles or something. I don't know.
I'm not leaving until I get my food. And it's so interesting to be a black woman and realize that you don't even have the right to have a couple of drinks and be sassy with somebody without encountering.
They remind black women.
Lose your life.
So she's on appeal, and I feel like to me, the case is so similar, and I've been wanting people to not forget about her too, because this case, I'm hoping her case goes better than Elizabeth's.
Right.
And if people know, we went to the hearing, her Elizabeth Epps' final hearing. It was awful. The judge on record is Judge Day. I look forward to reading the entire transcript aloud here on Off Color because it was incredibly insulting. It was racist. You can read Nyla Addison Burton's article about it in Essence magazine. That's up, so you can look for that. We'll throw that in the link in the comments. You can read about it if you're not familiar with the case. But it was because of Elizabeth that I took what I felt like was somewhat of a chance, right? I went out to the Aurora City Council meeting and I spoke because they have a time for public comment. And honestly, I didn't want to do it, right? But I was like, somebody got to do it, so I guess I'll go do it, right? Because I have
definitely struck a nerve. Those guys were a little worked up about it.
They were not happy. The mayor of Aurora was saying some stuff, and then also brings to light something else that's happening. This is local stuff, but all you have to do is look around your own your own area, and you will find these exact same things because this is America, right? So Denver Meadows, that's a story. They are taking these poor people who are living in their trailers and stuff, and they sold the land to a developer, and then they told them they all got to get out, and they're going to give them each $5,000, and that's it. And it cost them $12,000 at least to move. It's a mess. So you should be paying attention to that. I want people to pay attention to that, But when I went to speak afterwards, and Vince was with me, and what up, Vince? And those cops, everything, I was scared after I finished. And he walked me to my car because I felt nervous. And the whole time that I was driving home, I kept looking behind me because I thought they ran my name, they ran my plates, they're coming for me. Mm-hmm. And so I asked the city councilwoman, Nicole Johnson of Aurora, I said, what kind of police force do you have that I would actually be terrified after I spoke at a city council meeting? that I think someone's coming to get me. It doesn't matter if they're coming to get me or not. It's the fact that I am truly like shook and afraid.
As a citizen, as a law-abiding citizen, you should not be scared to speak up for somebody that you know personally at a city council meeting, and you should feel comfortable enough to get home with your life after doing something like that.
And I am nervous about it, and I'll tell you because my favorite store is over there, man. That's where I get my Jamaican beef patties. They should be sponsoring us.
I want a Jamaican beef patty right now.
Sorry, we don't got
great.
it.
Let's go get that. That sounds
Sorry,
good.
I'm sorry, you guys. I don't have any patties today. But that's my other business. Shh, let's not give that one away. All right, now. But I think like those. So to kind of like wrap it up a little bit here, unless there's any comments or anything we need to address, where people just like, we can't hear you.
Can we do a plug for the live podcast?
No, yeah, we're going to do that next.
Oh, sorry, Jay.
Don't get
Putting
ahead
a
of me.
link to that Essence article. About
Okay. Yeah, and just so you know, when you're doing live,
I would like to read that.
The links aren't live.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, no, but because then they click out of it and then they won't stay here and
That
watch
makes
us.
sense.
Hi. One person. So no. This is like a new thing for us doing it. Like
I hope
on
Marcelo's still
Facebook
watching.
Live.
Is Marcelo around? Is he on there?
He's been on. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
one of the ones still watching.
Okay.
Marcelo told me about this. Vince told me about your podcast.
Yeah.
And Marcelo told me about the podcast.
Marcelo's-
They are not in the same world, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh, why?
No, it's good. It's good. We just this is like our
Non-black folk
second.
bringing up your podcast.
Yeah,
Just
so
letting
this
you
is
know.
our second episode, like our second episode of the new season. So I really appreciate you like hanging with us and like going along with this.
Yeah.
So the thing I will say though is that with all the things that are happening and people are like, and then so Stephen Thrasher, I don't know if you know him, he's a writer. He's queer black man writer. He's like very brilliant person, but he posed a question, and this is sort of like my last question, and it was like, why are we paying so much attention to things like blackface governor, blackface teacher, like all of these like very overtly kind of racist things, when really we need to be looking at like the systemic issues and like tracking down, people who are murdering black people or murdering like, or and I'm thinking like of the indigenous women that are just like missing, like nobody knows they are, nobody fucking cares, like, and so it's like I think it's like funny to kind of like talk about it, and it hurts, and there's a lot of stuff going on there, but I just don't want us to lose sight of like the deeper systemic issues that are causing these things to happen in our communities. And so, I mean, I don't know, what changed? Because I feel like for a minute there, we were like, Black Lives Matter. Like, I feel like it was like, we were ready. We were like fighting. And now we got like, Epps is locked up in jail. That case should never have gone to trial, ever, right? Then we have Rosa Parks Jr. over here, and she's from the Waffle House, and she's going to be, that's her Twitter handle, just so you know. Rosa Parks Jr.
That's not okay.
Right? But I feel like, why is it okay? And then the judge in Rosa Parks Jr.'s case, Miss Chikezi Clemens, the guy was like, hey, he's like, she violated the law. And that's what Judge Day said too.
How did she violate the law?
She didn't comply enough. And that's like what happened to Elizabeth. And when you watch that video of Elizabeth Epps getting arrested, it's like plain as day. However, somebody here, I believe it was your father, who made a comment on that, on my page, on when we showed the video. He said she shouldn't have talked back to those police officers.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he said, but yeah, I mean, it was basically to the effect of, a lot of people have said, basically that was a situation where she was an instigator, that she should have minded her own business.
So here's my problem with that, and I had my friend too. I love you, at Peace Makita, girl, but girl, She said the same thing to me. She was like, well, you can't poke those bears. You shouldn't talk to them. And we kind of know that, right? Like, that's why we're like so nervous around the police.
Yes.
We know not to do it. And you should be able to do it without like being assaulted by the police.
White people do it?
People do it all the time.
White people do it
Just
all the
black
time.
people aren't allowed
Yeah.
to do it. I've seen a white boy hanging on the fence that they roll down over a door of a business, clawed on with his feet shaking, like, fuck you, bitch, and all this stuff. And cops aren't even trying to unholster their gun. They're leaning on their car. They're laughing. They're like, hey, man, get down. All kinds of considerations are taken when it's a white person. if it's a person of color, a woman, a black woman, who might even be spitting some knowledge, as I'm sure Elizabeth was, you're going to be punished for that.
They always come after black women for what we say. That's a big thing that happens.
That's why I don't have my job anymore, by the way.
We're not supposed to be saying anything. The nerve of us to speak up.
How dare we?
It's like, you ain't a white woman. Don't speak up like
your
that.
Behavior and your treatment of me is worthy. This is why black women get murdered
for our mouths.
Yeah,
it's terrifying, and
a judge and a jury will agree with that. Like, yeah, she was black. She was loudmouth. She should have shut up.
But
I didn't like the way she was dressed. Look at her hair.
The conversations about blackface and things that may seem less significant, I think that activism is difficult and it's scary, and you have to be brave to participate in it. So it's much easier for some of us who are not activists to make comments on blackface and have conversations about something that is just like, we can comment and take no action on that. But activism, I think it's a big deal. So it's not surprising to me that the conversation gets derailed and we end up talking about things that seem less significant. To participate in, any sort of civil unrest is scary and it's hard. Yeah. That's why we don't all do it. We do the little bit we can, which is speak.
And that's why I support Elizabeth Epps so much, because to me she represents so many, she's my friend, so I have a emotional connection to her, and I have the feelings about her. Right? She's been on this show, she's been here, she's hugged my baby, all of those things, and so I just want people to start speaking out more, even though it is scary. And I want people to be able to put their lives and their bodies on the line too. But at the same time, I'm also why it gotta be my body though?
Well, that's the question. I think that's what's happened. That's the disconnect with the Black Lives Matter and a lot of the movements is that, yeah, we're on board, but I have a family. I only have this one body. I only have this one life. And people have to be able to ask themselves that question, is it worth it? And that's unfortunate that we're put in that position to begin with.
It's a human thing. We're scared.
You're taking your life into consideration to stand up.
Those who do stand up should be recognized. You are being brave. You are being braver than the rest of us. And some of us are wrestling with these ideas and thoughts all the time. I don't go to any marches or rallies or anything, even if they're all positive. I don't feel comfortable in these huge groups of people and holding a sign about anything. Yeah. I don't want to be there. And that's just something, I remember when we had the first Women's March a couple of years ago, I called my sisters and my cousins who are Black women, and they were like, nah, girl, I'm not taking my kids to that. That's dangerous. I was like, okay, I was feeling the same way. I thought I was on an island by myself. No. And it's I don't know if I'm right in feeling this way.
No, I felt the same way when people were having meetings.
Not even those ones are too, because I had a white friend ask me to go with some women. It was some march, who knows, after the election or whatever. And I was I don't go there. I feel like I'm gonna get pepper sprayed or something.
Yeah, if somebody gets pepper sprayed, it's gonna be me probably. If a cop takes down somebody, it's gonna be me. I'm just gonna be sticking out. In Denver, I'm marching with thousands of women. I might stick out as a Black woman with a big mouth. Mm-hmm. And that frightens me. And I wish that I was braver, but I'm not. I'm an artist. I do what I can from the stage behind a microphone. I do what I can.
I have people that depend on me. And unless you're going to guarantee me some sort of protections.
So that's why
I don't owe anybody anything in that sense.
Yeah, but I respect everybody who does, and we appreciate that. And what I think, though, to get the conversation off of blackface and back into what can you actually do in the government, what I've always appreciated as a person who does not consider herself an activist, if my smarter, more involved friends send me a link, sometimes I've had friends say, copy and paste this to your representative. Yeah. And I'm like, thank you, my friend. I'm dumb. And I can copy and paste that. And if my friends who are more involved tell me that there's something that I can do, a small part I can take, I appreciate that. That's how you get us back involved, I think. If you say, okay, Janae, I get that you're scared about a rally, but can you send this postcard? I'm like, I know. I'm sorry I can only send the postcard, but I will absolutely send that postcard. And we'll grow my natural hair out and buy black. I will do those things. I'm sorry for being scared and being an artist, but I've had a lot of violence. I grew up in South Central where the violence was real. pervasive, prevalent, real, tangible. Bullets flying past your head, bullet holes in the walls of your house. So I've developed a bit of PTSD where I absolutely believe I could get my ass whipped by a cop. Just if they're behind me for any reason. I absolutely believe that. So it makes me hesitant to.
I guess I wonder, and it's hard because White James over here is like a Antifa or something, I think, right? Weren't you? Sorry.
No. Well, I mean,
a little bit.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I'm referring to you burning shit down
don't
in
bust
Oakland.
them out, yo. They do that anonymously. Do not bust them out right now.
No, that's true. I briefly flirted with getting involved in some of the more radical stuff when I was in Oakland. I went to like Occupy meetings and stuff like that. I got turned off on those folks pretty quick, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
I think those movements get infiltrated really quick with the corporate money, and I think that's what's happened with the Black Lives Matter movement, to be quite frank.
I don't know that that's actually true. So because I hear a lot. That's like a whole other. We might have to say that one for another time. But I'm just saying because I was hanging out with D-Ray, and I feel like there's just so many things that we don't necessarily know that are going on like behind the scenes, and people are saying this and that, and then those things aren't really true. But it's like if you give it credence, like I don't know. I mean, what are you basing this on?
I read some article that they were taking a really, really big donation from...
Exactly. Zanette, I'm gonna have to help you with your news media literacy for real. Because sometimes
what is so interesting about you and fact checking me?
Yeah.
You just checked my fact with a I don't know. So why is it that I can't say I don't know? I just want to ask that question to you. You don't know.
I don't.
And that's an acceptable position. Yet my not really knowing is not an acceptable position. I want to know why.
I think it's because I have seen some of your news sources and they were not particularly reputable.
And you know that because
I'm an information professional.
Okay, but you don't know anything about what we're talking about
love
right now.
when black women disagree.
In a position to challenge my knowing from your not knowing.
When black women disagree, they get more clear with their language and speaking.
I'm just wondering why you're allowed to not know.
Maybe I'm muffling my speech.
To not know. I have to fact check.
Very civil.
Because your homeboy, what was his name again?
DeRay
said so. And that means what to me?
He was like the founder of Black Lives Matter in Ferguson.
Let me Google it.
I think he knows some
Can I just tell you that most men cannot handle this right now? Like, you guys just talking, disagreeing. You don't have to agree. And you're just speaking clearly to each other. If you talk like that, I feel like when I talk like that to
Black Lives Matter
they be like, why
cashes
you
in
me?
with $100 million from liberal foundations, the Washington Times. Liberal
Washington
foundations.
Times.
General.
Wait,
That's hella general.
that sounds suspect to me.
Washington Times is a conservative paper. That's one of those like George Soros is ruining the world sort of papers. I'm not saying that means your story's not true. I'm just saying that source.
$100 million from liberal.
But you see what I'm saying? Like that to me is not necessarily like a reputable news source because it is a skewed.
$33 million in grants to the Black Lives Matter movement from Democratic Party donor George Soros.
Now, you anti George Soros?
No,
What do they use the money for?
That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
In my opinion, $100 billion means you're not really for the people anymore. You know what I'm saying? That almost puts you in a position to be working for the money now.
How you give out the money.
Who do you work for now?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. That's my point.
Okay.
I don't care what the source
You
says.
get your money
Did you
from
get
the man, then
$100
you work for
billion?
the man.
Who are you working for now?
Yeah.
$100 million. Girl, see, look, you're inflating the numbers. It wasn't $100 billion.
$100 million.
Who
do you work for? $100 million is a lot of money. And I find it difficult to say, oh, yeah, Black Lives Matter got $100 million to help black people.
Yeah.
I'm just supposed to say, sure.
No, and you should be skeptical, but I am also skeptical of your news sources.
So
right?
Washington Post is not.
No, it's not the Washington Post, girl.
Times.
That's the Washington Times. So that is geared towards like conservatives, right wingers, white supremacists, alt-right, like that's who's reading that. And so you're picking up on it, and then you're saying Black Lives Matter isn't so good, and then their mission is accomplished because now we have a black woman saying XYZ.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean though?
Right.
I hear so many hashtags. A black woman,
Right.
woman XYZ, black woman saying XYZ.
Okay, well
Black
maybe
woman saying
so whether or not Washington Times posted it, that definitely, I didn't read that necessarily from Washington Times. I just Googled Black Lives Matter receives large donation. And that's the only thing I got. And that was in 2016. And I think that it's interesting coincidence that the Black Lives Matter sort of got more quiet. Now I would love to think that there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and that's why they're quiet.
They are. I mean, they don't, yeah.
I haven't really heard anything outside of here's a new T-shirt.
What would we like them to do with
I think
that money?
that's a coincidence. I pay attention to more, the action than the news. So I read that, and then I watched, and I haven't heard anything from Black Lives Matter. Why haven't I really heard it?
Well, because there's all these different factions, right? There's all different chapters of them. There's this and that. And you are correct. There's all kinds of like infighting. There's this and that. And people are doing whatever they're doing. I am not privy to that information. I'm only privy, right, to the conversation that I happen to have with one of the founders of the movement, right? So he was saying that it's like, he's not making any money. He makes money off his tours and his speaking gigs and things like that, right? And then his book, and they give a certain percentage to whatever they're giving it to, but they're not even, I do want people to be careful with like the news media that they consume, and then I just think we have a real information literacy problem in this country, and I feel like people don't necessarily know how to evaluate like a source. I know my news is liberal skewed, right? Because that's what I'm looking at. But I also know that when I see something that I'm like, this doesn't sound totally right, then I'm going to be able to like check it. And so it's not necessarily personal towards you, Danette, my sister from another mister, right?
No.
It's more that I see people sharing like stuff that is like inaccurate. And then sometimes, guess what? It is accurate. My husband had a really good one where somebody posted a thing that said that getting mammograms would like give you cancer or something. And he was like, and he clicked on it because he's like, oh, I hate like fake news. Then it turned out it was fucking true. And it's if you get it before you're 50 or whatever the age is, like there is like a true real study, and it wasn't fake news, right? But it's like I want people to be really aware of like what they're consuming, and I want them to like think about it, including myself. So
what is Black Lives Matter doing? Because I haven't heard a thing.
I don't know.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So I think it's really coincidental.
Vincent Bowen. Vincent, where are you at?
If there's money, where did it come from? Did it go to the Black Lives Matter movement? And does it have something to do with the fact that they seem to have gone completely underground?
What is it?
I haven't heard a thing.
What are
I
they
haven't
exactly
seen them
doing
even
with the money?
MLK. There was nothing. Like, it's Black History Month. Why haven't I heard anything about Black Lives Matter? Is it just a t-shirt and just like a set we claim now and we're all moving on? What is it? What are they doing? I haven't heard a thing. Even me just Googling Black Lives Matter donation, the earliest thing was 2016.
Right.
What are they doing?
I don't know. Well, let's ask. We can ask.
So that's my point. So
Okay.
maybe my article or my source, but that is my point. Okay, we can all...
My wine is empty.
We can all worship at the altar of Black Lives Matter.
No more
Lives
for me.
Matter doing?
I had a whole glass.
And maybe it's some secret operative stuff, and we shouldn't be asking that question. And they're on some black berets, and they're handling black causes quietly and efficiently, I would hope.
We don't know, but I feel like it was always more about just that. To me, what Black Lives Matter means to me is simply that.
Well, if they got $100 million, it should be more than simply that.
No, but I'm saying like we don't know, like we don't know where it's going.
Don't know.
You are 100% correct,
and there's more of that gay agenda stuff in there as well.
No.
The intersectionality of it got a little weird.
Don't get me started. They're not a gay agenda. This was last week's episode.
Because that's what they a lot of they absorb the movements as their own.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that is...
But you can't say anything different. What are they doing?
I can say...
I bet you right now Black Lives...
next episode.
I bet you last episode. We already had...
I bet you right now Black Lives...
We had the gay agenda. Hashim, where you are?
What about the...
I bet you right now Black Lives Matter is at the LGBTQ meeting. I bet you that right now.
Well,
Maybe the next episode is about where is the money?
Where the money?
Where's the Black Lives
Okay, you know
Matter
what?
money?
Okay, so here we go. That will be February 23rd.
I mean, are they the new NAACP?
I mean, it's hard to say, but listen, February 23rd, we will be having a live show at Oscar Blues. Yes.
Oscar Blues.
Can you talk
Black
about it?
Buzzard.
So no, I'm serious. So that's the question. Because
Maybe
will you
that's
come
the
back on? Will you
question.
be on for that episode with us?
I'll be on for that episode. I think we're gonna get a bunch of people on for that episode.
Yeah,
to
and
talk,
then
'cause
we can see,
have a
we
good
can
chunk
say,
of
where's the
time.
money? We can get
Woo!
Vincent. We can
An
get Vincent
investigative
Bowden.
report.
Investigative report.
Where is the
Where's
money?
the money?
What would we like them to do with
Maybe
the
not
money? Is
just
what I
donations.
wonder.
Yeah, what does that look like? Maybe
If they
that's not
had
that
the
much
money.
money once you
Seemed
break
like
it
a lot.
down. It seems like a lot, right?
Seems like a lot to me.
$100 million.
I'll take $1 million.
Yes.
I'm doing a little fact checking over here. George Soros gave $33 million to various organizations in the Ferguson area. There was no check to any group called Black Lives Matter and nothing to the amount of $100 million.
That was George Soros, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the second thing on the
But if people are giving Black Lives Matter
33 million
money at all, what is the best use of that money? We could talk about that later. But February 23rd, Oscar Blues, Black Buzzard. It's called Black Extravaganza.
Black Extravaganza.
Black Extravaganza.
I'm trying to put on 5 of it. It's really, my friends keep calling it like a Black History Month celebration. It's not really, because I feel like somebody's going to expect some sort of I Have a Dream speech reading, and that's not going to happen. What it is just black stuff, y'all. I just want to do some black stuff, and I'm in Colorado, and sometimes I want to participate in something black, and it's not out there for me.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, well, why don't you throw it? And I was like, I'm not a producer. I don't want to. But yes, I'm throwing a party, basically. 2 p.m. we're doing trivia. 4 p.m. we're doing cartoons and comedy, which is... and we're going to focus on some black cartoons. 6 p.m., live broadcast of Off Color Podcast. And I think we can get some really great guests and have some important conversations during those hours. 8 p.m. is Ask Your Black Friend, a game show similar to the Newlywed Game. If you're a non-black person and you have a close black friend and you'd like to bring your partner on to see if y'all are, simpatico. And that's going to be Ask Your Black Friend.
Is it gonna be something like, have you? I'm just trying to think of the questions that
Well,
people ask, yeah.
It'll be some sort of questions like, how would your black friend answer this, and how would your white or your non-black friend answer this particular
Oh my God,
question?
this is gonna be lit. This is
so
gonna be so lit.
You don't necessarily need to know actual facts. You need to know how your black friend would answer a question about blackness.
And that's going to be on the 23rd.
That's going to be on February 23rd, 10 p.m.
At
We're
Oscar
closing out
Blues.
with MC Triple. She's going to be our musical act for the evening, and she's going to perform. And it's just going to be this all-day thing, $20 all day. Comes with a free drink. And that's at Oscar Blues. They have food.
Ins and outs.
Ins and outs.
Okay.
Come back. I want people to hang out. My sisters are coming into town. I have 4 sisters. 2 of them are flying in, plus the homie Crystal Hawkins. She's coming. My cousin Cindy's coming, because they were like, oh, you're doing something black. We're coming to help you. And I really appreciate it, because so many of my good non-black friends have volunteered to help. I appreciate you all. But some black people called me and said they was coming too. And I was like, the cavalry, the Black Lady Cavalry is coming. And I just wanted to do something black. It's not, I don't know if it's going to appease everybody. As somebody might say, ain't enough black history in your Black History Month celebration. Maybe, you're right. All I could do is be black and be there. So
I'm just gonna highlight significant mulattoes.
right,
through
yeah.
history.
I'm getting some black people involved. I'm doing some black shit. We asking some black questions.
Hey, nobody can say mulatto to me. Thanks.
It's the Black Extravaganza. But come to that, please.
Just look back. It's gonna be dope. But Ty, you gonna be there?
I will.
Yeah,
I'm actually
I know. Tell people it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be dope.
that.
So I'm really excited that Janae. I want to stop and thank you, baby, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I thought it was a little messy, but that's how it gets sometimes.
That's great.
And off color.
Happy Black History
That's great. Happy Black
Yeah.
History
Black
Month.
History
So for
Month,
your
everyone.
Black History Month treat, I will also
my
add.
Facebook feed is lit with all the black
Black history.
history. I love it. Even my white friends are like, Janae, I said this thing. Is this weird? I'm like, no, girl, that's not
No,
weird.
share it. So
Send
one-
it, share it.
So the other one I will let you guys leave for is my uncle Herbert H. Henderson. Will throw up his video also from our page. He was the first black person to graduate from George Washington Law School.
Cool.
And he fought. He did all kinds of stuff so that we could sit at this table and drink wine from vines and spirits. Stapleton Vines and Spirits at 2995 Ulster Street, Denver, Colorado. And so I feel like it is Black History Month. It's Black History Month in my house every day, though. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Lucky.
That's what we're doing.
Lucky.
Okay. So.
Yeah, love it. Love it. I'm excited.
I'm excited, too. I'm excited about February 23rd. Why, James, you excited about February 23rd?
I'm very excited.
Wait, are you available?
Yes, to my knowledge. What are we doing? What time is it?
Live podcast.
Live
at
podcast,
6.
6 o'clock, Oscar Blues in
Yeah, I'm
Denver,
free at
Colorado,
6.
downtown.
But
6
it's an
o'clock.
all-day event. You can come to the other stuff, too, and have some drinks.
I have class till 2.
Oh, it starts at 2. Doesn't it start at 2?
It's, the whole event thing starts at 2.
It starts at 2, so as soon as you're done with class, you can come on over.
I will be there.
Okay?
Yeah, you got Black History Month plans already?
Not for the whole month. No.
This counts for the month. Sorry, that's my Casio. Sorry, guys. I got it because it reminds me of my dad, and it beeps all
I think
day
it
long.
reminds me of my dad when it beeps. I'm like, oh, daddy.
Yeah.
All right. You guys, thanks. If anyone's out there, we love you. We love you so much, Off Color fam.
Yeah, thanks for coming through.
All right, White James, take us home.